Hello and welcome to Good or Bad. Can an animated Batman movie even compare to the might of the live-action Batman movies? Well, of course it can, that's a stupid question. And Under the Red Hood proves it. Well, actually a lot of animated Batman shows and movies prove it, but we're talking about Under the Red Hood right now. Released in 2010 and featuring the voice talents of Bruce Greenwood as Batman, John DiMaggio as the Joker and Jensen Ackles as the Red Hood. And they all do a good job, especially Greenwood as Batman. He almost rivals Kevin Conroy. Almost.
You're lucky I don't kill.
Okay, you're 1,000 times better. I'll never compare anyone to you again. Just, please don't hurt me. The movie incorporates two comic book story arcs, those being, spoiler alert, the death of Jason Todd, the second Robin, to which the movie opens with, the second being the Red Hood, the villain Jason became when he was brought back from the dead. You know, by a Lazarus pit, but we will get to that in a moment. First of all, I want to talk about the scene in which Robin gets killed. It was heavily influenced by the comic Death in the Family, which is awesome and you should totally read it. But anyway, there are differences, but the core of it is the same. He gets beaten to death by the Joker with a crowbar. And that was quite heavy, especially as an opening. This movie really doesn't pull its punches.
You wanna know how I got these scars?
You think that Joker was crazy? Ha! This is the one to be scared of! Okay, I sense confusion coming. I'm not saying John DiMaggio is a better Joker than Heath Ledger. Just that the Joker in Under the Red Hood is portrayed as being crazier than Heath Ledger's Joker was in The Dark Knight. Both were very good, but in this version, the Joker seems more sadistic and psychotic. And then, as I mentioned before, he was forced back into life via a Lazarus pit. And for those of you that don't know, a Lazarus pit is what Ra's al Ghul, one of Batman's enemies, uses to rejuvenate his body whenever he is getting too old. Think of it as the fountain of youth. Anyway, Ra's uses the pit to try and resurrect Jason Todd because he was responsible for his death. Prior to Jason's death, Ra's wanted to destabilise the banking economy, and he hired the Joker to kick up some fuss to provide a distraction to Batman and Robin. But things went south and the Joker killed Robin, so Ra's wanted to rectify this mistake, but only succeeded in driving Jason insane. Or was he insane? The movie shows us Jason Todd when he first became Robin. You know, I never really did understand why Batman had a child sidekick. It just seems weird. Anyway, the movie shows Jason as he grew up. He went from child Robin to an older and more dangerous and angry Robin, who looked like he was on the verge of breaking off and becoming someone more like the Punisher than Batman.
I had to take him down.
You shattered his collarbone. We needed him. He would have talked, but you put him into shock.
Plus later on in the movie, Jason did say he wasn't crazy, and it was just the real him. So it does make you think, was he crazy? Or was it just him?
Please, I can help you. I know what happened.
Oh, you got to talking with Ra's, huh? But does it make it easier for you to think that my little dip in his fountain of youth turned me rabid? Or is this just the real me?
So Jason coming back to life and becoming the Red Hood was the setup to the movie. So what was the rest of it about? Was Batman trying to save Jason or failing that have him locked up? No. The movie comes up with something far more interesting than that, and somewhat poetic. After all the fighting, the threats, the intimidating stares, it just boils down to Jason wants Batman to kill the Joker. And why?
And doing it because he took me away from you.
Because he took Jason away from Batman. Oh, that's so sweet. Jason wants Batman to avenge his death, and if he didn't, he would do it himself. Or he would kill Batman. Or just blow everyone up. Yeah, that wasn't really clear. And again, that balances the he's crazy or it's just his natural self argument back in the favour of crazy. Because I understand him wanting Batman to avenge him. That's logical, but to also have a plan in motion to kill all three of them? That's a little on the crazier side. So the movie really doesn't tell us which it is, and I love that it doesn't tell us. It's just a good example of less is more, and makes the Red Hood more interesting. It really is quite a strong and personal story, as are a lot of the animated Batman movies. That's one thing I love about movies like this. They aren't gigantic and grand and full of hype. They are just a really good story in only an hour. I mean, look at The Dark Knight Rises. It tries so hard to be epic in scale and to build up to something. But this doesn't, and I think it's all the better because of that. It's just really refreshing to see a story like this. As for the artwork and animation, it's really good. They captured all the characters really well, And I hate to keep going on about it, but the way they made the Joker look just makes him look so much crazier. I think it's the eyes that just work really well. The action is great. The movie has several chase scenes and fight scenes, the best of which being the fight between Batman and Red Hood at the end. But it's not uncommon that the best fight would be saved for last. As for the soundtrack in this movie, it's pretty good, not great, especially when compared to the DC animated universe, but that's where they really shined. Most prominently the soundtrack in Mask of the Phantasm, but let's leave that for now. It's not all great though, because there is some dumb exposition in this movie, such as the way Batman explains who Amazo is to the audience. They have two thugs who were transporting some unknown cargo that turned out to be Amazo ask what the hell that is, and Batman just tells them. It didn't work that well. I understand the film's need to explain to the audience who Amazo is, but having Batman explain it to two generic thugs just really wasn't the best way to go about it. Another example of dumb exposition is how the movie explains who Nightwing is. It's dumb, but I find this one funny.
Who's that other one? The pretty boy in the leotard.
That's Nightwing. He was the Bat's first sidekick. The first Robin.
I don't know, it's just the idea that two thugs are watching a showdown between Amazo, Batman and Nightwing, and they are just chatting about who Nightwing is. On the whole, this is a great Batman movie. Easily a contender to the big screen adaptations of the character, if not better. It's got lots of talented voice actors, including Neil Patrick Harris as Nightwing. Although he didn't have a large part in the movie, but it was still a good part. And I cannot leave out Wade Williams as Black Mask. That was a lot of fun to watch and rivals Nolan North's performance as Black Mask in the Arkham games. There's not much else to say except this is one of the best Batman movies, at least in my opinion, and I hope to see more like it, instead of all the word-for-word comic-to-movie adaptations that followed it. See you next time.